Hey everyone, Captain Noah Link here with Noah's Ark Fishing on YouTube. Welcome to this edition of Shop Talk. We're going to be talking about the false albacore blitz that's going to be going on in the next couple of months here at Cape Lookout, as they call it. Got a big influx of false albacore to come in. Our big Spanish mackerel that eat the same bait, everything, they're going to be really feeding up for this run. Tons of bait in the water. And I'll also throw in the springtime run for bonito. It's going to be the same baits, all that. We're going to get Atlantic bonito run through here in the spring and in April and a little bit of May. So include that in to what we're talking about. But we're going to be talking about the Clarkspoon company today and all that they have to offer for these fish. They have a complete lineup of spoons, jigs, things like this. So let's get into it. So what I'm going to talk to you about first. So the average spinning reel that I'm going to be using is going to be, this is a 6 to 14 pound Star Plasma by Star Rods, a 3000 series Okuma reel. This is about all you're going to need for these fish. It's going to put up a good fight on this tackle, but there's really no need to go any further. Maybe you go up to a 4000 on the reel, and you could, if you really wanted to, you can bump up on the rod too, make it a little bit, about 8 to 20 pounds, say, something like that. But this is pretty much the average reel that I'm using for these fish. So and what we're doing, we're going to be talking about the Clarkspoon products here. So we're going to start off with the Clarkspoon stick jigs. The largest one they offer in the stick jig is the 1.5 ounce stick jig. This is really good jig. It's heavy. We use this a lot in the winter time for, you can throw it long distance, but it is 1.5 ounces. It's going to be hard to really rip it real fast. Now, vertical jigging for big Spanish, bonita, things like that, this is really good. Or if you're going to use it casting with, say, a 5 to 6000 series reel that has a real high rate of retrieve, this is going to be really good also. Super good. And we use these a lot, actually casting to school and redfish in the wintertime on the spinning rods, because we can really get it out there. We can get it out into the ocean. It's a long cast on this. But this is a stick jig. They got 5 colors. You got 2 sizes. Check out, go to clarkspoon.com. You can check out all this stuff. Really good company. This is the biggest one. Now, what they've just introduced, we've just got this in the last couple of weeks, and we've been trying it out with great success. It's got a single hook on it. This is the 1 ounce stick jig. This is probably their newest addition to the lineup, to their lineup. But once again, these come in 5 colors, and we've already been just tearing up the fish on these. Big Spanish love these. We're getting some albacore, and what I really like about this 1 ounce version is the simple fact that it's plenty heavy enough to throw with a medium action rod. You can get a really long distance. So this means that you don't have to get right in on top of the school of fish. You can stay 30 yards off of them and still hit them really good, yet the lure is plenty light enough to really rip it through the water. So that 1 ounce is a really good weight, good size, good weight, like everything for catching these false albacore and the big Spanish. They love it so far. I did some testing with it last week, and it was highly successful. Okay, so we're going to move on. The next jig that we're going to talk about for the same type of fish, because some days they may not want one size, they may want another size, they may want a different color, something with a little different appearance in the water, the way it presents itself. So this is the Clarkspoon diamond jig. These have a real unique fluttery action in the water. These work really, really good. These come in 3/4 ounce and a half. Check these out. These are really good. We're using these. You can vertical jig these. You can cast them. Really good for a variety of fish. These also are going to be good casting to redfish in the wintertime off your beaches and things like that, even off a boat where you see a school and you really don't want to spook them and get in close onto them, you can do this. Or if you're in, these fish, any fish, are close to the beach, you don't want to put your boat right in on that beach where the waves are going to be. So these offer a long cast. You don't have to get in that close. You can get it out there. Nice, good, strong single hooks. These are really good. So check this out as well. So those are your jigs that I'm going to be talking about for these false albacore and bonita. They do offer a few others and some other spoon variations, but these are the ones that I target. Big Spanish, albacore. You can cast them, you can vertical jig them. Sometimes these fish go deep. Like, say for instance, I'm casting this 1 ounce jig with good results. We're catching them, and the fish go deep on me. You know they're still there. You can see them on your fish finder, your sounder. So I break this guy out, 1.5 ounces. Considerable weight difference. Drop it straight down in them, let it go down, bring it up a little bit, and just start jigging it. There's a good chance you're going to hook up. But this is what I'm talking about when I tell people that you need to be versatile and you need to have everything that you might need to have to catch these fish, because some days they're going to be hitting something different, maybe a different color jig, different size, and they may change up immediately. It may be tide that changes them up. It may be bait fish that go deep or come to the surface. Everything can change in pretty quick, and you need to be able to adapt to that, and the only way to do it is to have the right tackle. So another lineup that Clarkspoon has here is the spoons. So we're going to get into that now. So I'm going to start out with the Clarkspoon weighted spoon. So these come in 3 sizes, a couple different colors. This makes an ordinary Clarkspoon like this castable. It adds weight to it. You can get it in 1/8, 3/8, 1/4 ounce, stuff like that. These are really good. Like I say, it basically takes the original Clarkspoon and makes it castable. These are highly effective on your Spanish mackerel, your bonita, the albacore, false albacore. Once again, I have all this in my tackle box arsenal at all times, and more. And I'll do another episode on these same fish with a whole nother type of castable lures other than these. So this is the weighted spoon. You can, once again, you can find these on clarkspoon.com. Now, something else is pretty neat that they have, and this is the Clarkspoon Bubble Buster. It's a bubble rig. What you do, it's got a spoon attached to it. You can throw it just like this, dry, but this is made to add water to it. What you do, you pop this little tube out, you add water in it, put it under water, and it's going to fill up to your desired level and weight. So I usually like to put mine at about half full. It's a good weight. You can throw it a long distance, and what this does, by ripping this, you're using this similar to what you would use as, say, a top water walking bait or a popping cork, something like this. You're creating a disturbance on the surface with this trailing behind it, right up there on top. And this is a highly effective tool for getting this out there. This is Chartreuse Flash double-aught spoon. This is the smallest spoon they make. This is what I really like to use, and the way this comes rigged, this is one of the ways. They, I believe, have 4 options to purchase the bubble rig with, and this is one of them, definitely. I like to use this. It's lightweight up top here, and this is, like I say, it's castable. You can weight it any way you want. You fill it with water. If you don't want to put any water in it, you don't need to. Super cool setup right here. I highly recommend keeping it on the boat because, like I say, there's a lot of opportunities out there where fish are tearing up the water and you don't have something they want. It might take you 3 lures to figure out exactly what they want, or maybe you got 3 of you on the boat and you're rigged up different. Maybe 2 of you are catching okay and Joe over here is wearing them out. So what you're using, they're okay with it, but what he's using, they're loving it. So switch out to that, you know. Once again, great tool to have in the arsenal. As you can see, Clarkspoon has just this great lineup of stuff. I mean, just one company has a bunch of stuff, and they really target this fishery. So it's very good to just have a show dedicated to them and all that they have. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the fish themselves and when they're feeding, when they're not feeding, and when to know this. Over the years, I figured out that when you got, just say, Spanish mackerel, false albacore, these are fish that rise to the surface and feed. So when they're feeding, there's birds around. Most people say, hey, if you can find the birds, you can find the fish, which in a lot of cases is true. But there's a lot of days that you'll see fish busting on top or appear to be busting. If there's no birds on them, they're not feeding. So you'll approach these birds, and I have a lot of people tell me this, well, I can't catch them, they're busting all over the place. They're not feeding. Because if they were feeding, the main reason that birds follow schools of fish is because they're chewing up all this bait fish, all this food. The birds are eating the scraps. They're not there so much for the fish. They're after the food that the fish are tearing up. So if you come across a school of fish that's beating up the water somewhat, appears to be feeding, but there's no birds on them, but yet you look maybe 50, 100 yards away and there's some birds that are just actively on the water, just working it, those fish are feeding. That's what you want to target. You want to find feeding fish, because there's plenty of times, and you may pick up a fish or two now and then out of fish that really aren't feeding. You may get one to strike, take the bait, whatnot, but most of the time when the birds aren't on them, they're just not feeding. And that's the way that is, you know. So, and something else that I would like to pass on, any of these jigs, probably aside from the bubble buster, the bubble rig, you want to retrieve these at a high rate of speed. If you're seeing fish, follow these lures to the boat. You know, you're throwing this stuff right here, and these fish are following it and turning off. You see them, you know, it happens a lot. Speed up your retrieve. It's not fast enough. They're looking at it, they kind of like it, but it's not to their liking. Something about it is not adding up for them. Pick up your retrieve, you know, and a lot of people that troll for Spanish mackerel will understand. You're trolling, just say, around 6 knots. You kind of got to match that speed when you're casting with these. That's the way they want it. They want it fast. So just something to consider, that if you're seeing these fish follow your lures, you want to speed up your retrieve. You want to pick it up. And casting to these fish, Spanish mackerel, false albacore, when you're throwing to them, usually these fish are moving in a direction. There are times when they're not, but if you look at them, they're usually moving in a direction. Try to put that bait in front of them. And you need to take into thought that if the wind's blowing, your lure's going to, when you throw, your lure's going to go with the wind to a degree. And that's a lot when I'm throwing metal. It's usually because, one, that's what the fish want. Whether it's windy or not, if they want it, they want it. But when it's windy, I can cut through that wind with the metal. But you want to throw ahead of these fish, ahead of them, and throw past them a little bit. But I get a lot of folks, they cast at them as they're feeding, and as the wind's blowing in one direction or another, usually this time of the year out of the northeast, and by the time that lure hits, it's behind them or not quite to them. You need to get where that lure is going to hit, out in front of them and a little bit beyond them, so you're bringing it through them and across the front of them as they're feeding. That's how you want to get these. You'll catch the occasional one on a miscast now and then, but the hookups repeatedly come from putting these baits right in front of these feeding fish. You know, especially the false albacore. Spanish, sometimes they're not moving in one direction or another, and their feeding pattern is just a little bit different. But the false albacore, put it in front of them, you know, across the feeding school. If the school's going this way, put it right in front of them so they can run into that lure. That's what they're doing. You know, they're coming up and they're feeding on this bait. They're looking ahead. They're not too much worried about what's behind them. So it's very important. Would like to thank you all once again for tuning in. I hope that I passed on some decent information to you about the Clarkspoons. They do have more stuff. Go check them out at clarkspoon.com. This is Captain Noah Link with Shop Talk on Noah's Ark Fishing. Thank you for checking us out, and check us out on the next episode. Not sure what we're going to be talking about, but it is going to be good. It's going to be important. Have a good day.